Leslie.
Hey, Robin, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. I am so great. Please explain what your background is. Are you in London?
I am saying, hey, London.
And what does that have to do with our speaker today?
Well, our guest today is Lainey Dionne. Did I say that right?
Dionne. People say it differently all the time.
How do you say it? I'll say it the right way. We'll edit this all out.
Or you can keep it in. It's hilarious.
My whole family goes Dionne.
Dionne?
It's very French, but
Really?
I say Dionne. So
Dionne.
So we have Lainey Dionne on our podcast today, and we are talking about communication via performance. And how do people go about performing? How do they prepare? And how are they even interested in doing it? And Lainey's crazy popular song is Hey London,
Mm-hmm.
hence the
How
background.
cute.
Welcome, Lainey.
Hi, Lainey.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're super excited. We've been talking about this for like what, a couple months now, Robin?
Quite a few months, yeah.
It's been very hyped up. Yeah, Robin's been listening to all of your music and sending it to me, and she's like, "Have you heard this song yet?" It's been awesome. But they're really great.
So there'll be more.
Yay! That's awesome.
Yeah. Tell us how you got started into singing and performing.
Oh God. So singing is kind of a little embarrassing. I've been singing since like as long as I can remember, but I was really into singing Charlotte Church and like the bathroom, like showers,
Yeah.
like opera. Yeah, and I just started branching off into like more like kind of emo stuff, like Avril Lavigne, and then getting into more and like the crazy like screamo music. I was in a screamo band in high school.
No way.
Yeah, I had bright blue hair. I played a electric all black guitar with a black studded belt as the guitar strap.
Nice.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And then I like got into like the whole like Ingrid Michaelson kind of scene, like folk music, and that's when I got into Berkeley. And then I decided to, pursue. I actually got in on piano when I was trained. Did not like the jazz program. There were like 7 chords. Did not know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, can't do that. So I switched over into the vocal program, and then I started taking it very seriously.
I had no idea you went to Berkeley. That is so cool. That's a very prestigious college for music.
Yeah. Most people think it's like Berkeley in California, but it's not that one.
Is it the one in Boston? Where is it?
No, it's in Boston. You're right. It's Berkeley College of Music, but there's also like Berkeley, like the big science school.
Oh, I'm thinking the one in Boston. I don't even. The California one is not even the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Robin, maybe.
I was totally into the California one. I was like, oh, she went to Berkeley.
Well, my grandparents are from Boston, and so that's like the only Berkeley that I know. But I've always heard the Berkeley music in Boston. I've always heard is great too. So I mean, it's got a good reputation as well.
It's crazy. Yeah, the talent at that school is insane.
Jeez, that's so cool.
Yeah.
The singing thing. It sounds like singing started and then the music kind of came after that, the guitar and everything. When did you start learning instruments?
So I started piano when I was 6.
Okay.
And that's why I was like, my chances might be higher if I do piano, because I've been playing that for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into guitar in probably like 6th grade. I started teaching myself guitar, and then other instruments. When I was like 10, I started violin. There's like a whole. I played mandolin, violin. Got some cajon in there. Play some harmonica. You gotta like.
You're gonna teach me how to play harmonica. I've always wanted to learn that.
I'm not like an expert or anything.
Okay.
I could do a few notes while playing guitar, with that like headgear.
Yes, that piece. I was just looking up some stuff the other day about there's a band that out of Nashville called Smoothhound Smith. And that guy, do what?
That's a tongue twister.
It is. Oh my gosh. I mess it up every time, but the guy who is the guitar player, he'll sing, he has the harmonica around his neck on that little piece. And then he also has like a cajon, because that's a drum, right?
Yes, you sit on it.
Yeah, so he sits on it and then he has this like little pedal that he'll play that and he's like playing all these
the whole thing.
It is wild. Like I play guitar, but and that's pretty much that and bass, but that's pretty much the only instruments I can play. But people like you who can do a little bit of everything, that's so incredible. Like the way your brain must work to do that. It's really cool.
Yeah, I guess you have to be like very math. Like you have to be good at math to like.
Oh,
I think there's like a correlation between math and
I
music.
can see that.
Well, it's all numbers anyways. But
Mhm.
I actually have dyscalculia. But I skipped a grade in math, so I'm good at math. But I'm
Okay.
like with numbers. So,
Yeah. That's so neat.
yeah.
Do not have that. Ashley, I think I told you about my my violin story.
No.
I played
Maybe
the
you did, but I
recorder.
forgot.
Played the recorder in 5th grade. I think everybody has to play the recorder.
I never had to do that for some reason. My brother did though.
Actually, you're kind of lucky. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
Played that. Then I too played violin and realized that I couldn't read music. So I had to memorize everything by numbers. So when you said numbers, I started laughing. And I can't remember what the song is, but it was 1 2 3 3 1 2 2 2 dun 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 dun.
Is it hot cross buns? Because that's what everyone plays the recorder.
Yeah. So anyways, I learned the violin by what number it was because I would have to memorize all the music.
Yeah.
And then I played alto sax in middle school. And because I couldn't read music, I would have to memorize everything. So I would go to the band teacher, he would play the melody, or he would play my part because alto sax isn't always the melody.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd have to memorize it. And I was second chair for most of middle school, but I couldn't read music. Still to this day, I can't read music. But
That's cool.
anyway, yeah.
I feel like that's like two types of musicians. It's like you who's learning numbers and stuff, and then there's other like intuitive. I feel like I'm in Nashville and there's so many great artists here, and some of them are just so intuitive and they just like pick it up and there's no numbers involved and it's like they just. But I guess you're right. Like a lot of music is just patterns, and patterns are math.
Yeah. I mean, I learned violin by ear because I couldn't read that.
Yeah. Oh.
Because if once you learn piano, you're kind of set. But I was not a fan of trying to read music when I was younger. So I kind of did that by ear too. But when you're at Berkeley, I mean, there's like so many classes that you have to take involving
Really
reading music. So yeah.
Had you Had you performed before you went to Berkeley?
So I mean, I did recitals as a kid.
Okay.
But my first I'd say my first performance would be we had like this thing at our school called Spring Fest and Fall Fest. And it's where like the whole school gathers in the courtyard and all these garage bands get to play.
cute.
And I would consider my first performance, first time I like really got nervous, like singing in front of a crowd, was that. And I sang this song by A Day to Remember. And I had the whole
Love them. A Day to Remember. It's an emo band, kind of. I have their CD in my car. I just got my old CDs from high school out the other day.
Yeah. So, and I had the whole, It Means a Lot to You. And I had the whole crowd do the la, 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 la. I had them do that part while I sang the rest of the part. And that was like my moment where I was like, oh my God, the whole crowd's singing with me on this song. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life, so.
Oh, that's great. That's like a great segue into like, have you known this for your whole life? It sounds like that was a pivotal moment for you.
Yeah, I mean, before that, so here's another word story. So I wanted to be a marine biologist for a while. And
me too.
We need to be friends after this.
I think we're the same age too. That was anyways, go ahead.
So so I wanted to be a marine biologist for a while, and I was like really into sports. I did Irish step dancing, which is
That's cool.
And I was state champs in track. And I played soccer and stuff. And then I broke my hip. So then I had to like cancel all of that. No more like sports, rec, dance classes, nothing. And that's when I like really like got into music. So it was like all I could do. That was my only hobby left. So.
How did you break your hip?
Oh boy. So did you guys, I don't know if this was like a New England thing, but did you guys have like this game called Manhunt where you like went out in the woods and you played hide and seek?
No, we do not in Wisconsin.
Robin wouldn't do that anyway. She's paranoid by murderers.
At night you go and you meet in a park and you all like hide throughout the park in the woods and stuff, and there's goo and you run towards it, and
This actually sounds really fun.
your team has to get to goo before the other team does, and that's how your team wins. And if the other team finds you, it's hide and seek, so then you're out. So I was running and this girl fell and I picked her up and I put her on my back and I was running with her to goo, and then I fell into a split, and her weight on top, like when I fell into a split, I dislocated it, and when her weight came on top of me, I chipped the top of my hip.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds terrible.
Oh my God.
And then I walked home.
Did you feel it at the time? I feel like sometimes instinctually you're like, oh, I broke my hip, but did you feel like you broke
I'll
anything?
never forget the sound. Like I'll never forget the sound of it. But at the time I was laughing on the ground until I was like out of shock, and then I was crying, and then they were like, oh, she's faking it. She's laughing 2 minutes ago.
Could you do a split before this?
Nope.
Okay, I was about to say, so that was a fluke in itself.
Yeah. So that like I was on crutches for like 3 months. It was like a crazy thing. And my hip was never the same. Like I still go to the chiropractor and he has to pop it back in every now and then. But because of that, I was like, can't do any of these sports anymore. Might as well put all my focus into this. So it all worked out.
Yeah.
What would you consider your first big show after college?
After college, there are a couple. Do I have to pick one?
You can, no, or in college too, I guess. What would you consider your first big gig? Your first big show?
I think my first one, I opened for Head in the Heart, and that was a big thing. And then I played it's like the biggest music venue in Rhode Island, Lupo's. It's actually not called Lupo's the Strand. And then I opened for Drake and Josh. So
Robin, we're over here vibing. Like, this is my childhood, like everything about my childhood.
yeah,
What was the first band that you said?
Head in the Heart.
Head in the Heart?
They
Head in the
sound,
Heart, yeah.
that
They're
sounds so
very
familiar.
folk-y.
But yes, I was like,
My
that's
first album was all folk. So
Gotcha.
I've got to look this up after this because I know I've heard them. They may have came to Nashville before.
yeah, they have a lot of good songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was a good. To open up for Drake though is like.
It's funny enough. I didn't know that he was a musical artist, but I guess all of the people from Nickelodeon ended up being. Do what?
You remember Totally Kyle?
I do, but I thought it was a joke. Totally Kyle. Yeah. Sorry, Robin. Yeah, I always thought that was like a joke of his. Like I didn't think that he actually could play guitar.
Oh yeah, no. He did the song for Zoe 101.
Oh wow. I had no idea.
He's a big writer, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's super cool. I just didn't even I didn't even know.
Yeah, he does the theme song for Drake and Josh.
So he does every theme song, it sounds like.
For Nick, yeah, for a while.
For Nickelodeon.
Thousands, yeah.
Now all those artists are all from Disney. I feel like Disney's got the big artists. I mean, I don't know of any. I guess Ariana Grande was from Nickelodeon, right?
I think, yeah, because she did that thing with iCarly, and iCarly is Nickelodeon.
Anyways.
I'm totally
We
laughing
digress.
because I have no idea who any of these bands are because I'm way older. But what I am laughing at is like, I know Hannah Montana. And then,
I mean, another great one. Disney, though. Disney.
yeah. And then Ariana Grande, her brother Frankie was on Big Brother.
Oh.
And when he was on Big Brother, he made a comment about, oh, my sister's Ariana Grande. And like nobody knew who she was. Like one person knew who she was. And then I'm thinking, oh, thank goodness. Like I'm not super out of the loop because one person knew who she was out of, like 16. And then probably like a year after Big Brother, she became super popular. And I thought, oh, that's Frankie's sister from Big Brother.
You were the only person I think to like make that connection What season was that?
Oh, I'd have to look it up. I don't even remember.
Isn't he younger?
I think so.
Older or younger than Arya?
No, maybe he's
Okay.
older. And I think they're either step or half. I think he's
Oh.
actually a step brother, but I'm not sure. Anyway,
Oh, I just
so
didn't know
I
he
am
was
cracking
like-
up over here when these two are talking about all these bands I've never heard of ever.
So did you get to tour with him, or was it just one specific show?
That was one show in Rhode Island. I'm from Rhode Island. And
Okay.
one of his shows is in Rhode Island, so I guess.
That's on my list of places to go is Rhode Island. I have like 7 states left. If I go there, I'll come see you.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
There you go. We can go to a concert once COVID's gone.
Yeah. Rhode Island's the best. If I could live anywhere else, it would be somewhere in Europe, but anywhere in the States. I mean, I love Rhode Island. It's the best.
So,
So we're cool.
yeah. So have you traveled a lot overseas then?
So I traveled to London.
Yeah, I was about to say that's kind of my segue into like what is the inspiration behind Hey London?
So segue, kind of long story, I'll make it short. I dated this guy from the Netherlands that I met in a Tap Revenge chat room on iPad. Do you remember that game?
Yes. These are unlocking so many memories I completely forgot about. Tap Revenge.
I was talking to this guy in the Tap Revenge chat room.
I do remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah. And we talked for 5 years, and then we started getting romantic, and I was like, oh, let me go and see you. So I traveled to the Netherlands. I met him. We dated for a year, went back and forth for a little bit, and then I got accepted to this songwriting program in France. And so I went out to France and in Normandy, and there I met this British guy. And so I left the Dutch guy and started dating the British guy. And we were supposed to do this what's it called? A cruise. We were supposed to do this cruise tour where we were the entertainment on the cruise.
That's cool.
It got canceled, so we didn't end up doing that. And I took the whole month out to do that cruise. So I was like, I have this whole month to do nothing. Like, I wanted to play shows with you. And he was like, okay, well, fly out to England and you could live with me for a month. So flew out to England and lived with him for a month. So I've been abroad a bit.
That's so cool. I'm so glad to know that the guy from the Netherlands wasn't a creeper.
I know.
It could have ended so badly.
When I landed, I'd never been on a flight that long. When I landed, I was just tired. And so my parents were like, hey, take a picture to let us know that you're okay. I took a picture like this. I was leaning up against the glass and I was like, I'm okay. It's like a 6-hour difference. So I was just tired. And they're like, did he hit you in the eye? Show us your whole face. Are you okay?
Robin's spider senses are going up. She's like, never. She doesn't even let me go into a hike on my own. She's better about it now. But.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
yeah, you can never be too careful. Seriously, CrimeCon, I'm telling you. Ashley and I are going CrimeCon 2021, and I'm telling you, it's gonna freak you out, Ashley.
I know. I'm kind of afraid to go because, I listen to true crime all the time.
Yeah,
I feel like if I'm not creeped out yet, probably won't be.
No, you probably won't be.
I had my parents Skype their parents beforehand, so
okay,
there
that's
you
good.
go. That is very smart.
Yeah.
That is actually very smart.
That's a Robin safety rule right there.
Jeez. So do you how do you get your inspiration for your songs then? It sounds like that one was a very specific instance. Do you typically get them in spurts? How does the whole process work for you?
I mean, I don't think I think I've only written one song that wasn't about a relationship I had. So it's usually very something crappy happens.
Yeah.
About it. Or something amazing happens and then I'm like, oh, I feel all lovey-dovey. You need to write a song about this. But I've only written one song that was kind of just about how my life was crazy at the time. And it was on my first album and it's called Wouldn't It Be Nice? And it was about the struggle of graduating college. But it's just life experience that just happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Where do you get your music from? If you don't write it, where does it come from?
I do write it.
Oh, so you do write all of your songs?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
No, I mean, Hey London has 2 other co-writers on it. And so does my next single, has 2 other co-writers on it. I did that stuff down in Nashville. I was flying back. Yeah.
Nashville, gotta love it, gotta love it. Where do you find your co-writers? Are they friends of yours, or how do you rope them into a song?
So I sent out my first album for like feelers and stuff, and I actually had this meeting with Atlantic Records in California, and they hooked me up with this guy in Nashville, Jason Davis, and they've just been my team ever since. So they find me the writers. Hey London was actually written with Gabe Simon, who has written songs for Dua Lipa. So
Wow.
I got together with my
Robin,
producer.
Dua Lipa.
Not a clue.
I'm gonna make a playlist for you, Robin, of all the people we're talking about. I'm gonna send it to you on Spotify.
I would love that.
I know
am
you
all
would.
about it.
I know you would. I'm gonna make a list. All right. Anyways, go ahead.
So they hooked me up with Gabe Simon, and then their producer is Nick Schwartz, and so he's the third writer on the track. But
I've always wondered how co-writing works. I have a couple of other friends that are songwriters, but I've never actually gotten into like the nitty-gritty of, so how does it work actually? Is it you have a concept for a song and then you need someone to help you on melodies, or you need someone to help you with the words? Can you go into a little bit how that works?
I'm sure it works different for like every artist has their own like little thing to get into.
Mhm.
But for me, I wrote down a list of titles that I was like, okay, these are all concepts that I think are pretty cool that haven't really been super done yet. Like, you don't want the same title that's like I Love You Baby or whatever. Like, that's titles done a million times. You want a title that's going to stand out so that when someone looks up your song, it's not going to come up a million times with other people.
Right.
I was just writing down some titles that I thought were like super cool and trendy. and also could have a backstory in my life. So Hey London was one of the titles. And then of course the guys asked me why London, and then I told them all about my dating history.
Okay, so
It's very every writer that I've written with is different. So like you can have some writers that you like mesh really well with, and like the creative juices are just like completely flowing, and it's just like, oh yeah, so like you're like super into it. And then you have those days where it's just like everyone's blocked and everyone's just tired of going over the same metaphor over and over again. You know, so it just depends on who and how they like their process.
Talking about processes, how do you get ready to perform? Do you have a certain ritual, or how do you get ready to perform?
So so I'm also like a cover artist, I guess. That's how I make my money. So I'll go into bars and like that's like a nothing. Like I do nothing beforehand. I get ready and just go, you know. But when it comes to like big shows, like it's a lot of freaking out and yelling. Where's my curling iron? You know, it's a lot of that pre-show. And then I get there and like I have anxiety, so like my like heart's like and I'll either like take a pill and calm down, or I'll just like try to trick myself into getting excited. And then what freaks me out most for a show is like forgetting the words to your own song. Like how do you do that? But it's been done. Like I've gone up there and like blanked and just made up a verse like on the spot, you know? Or you'll just kind of like,
incredible.
Pretend that like you don't have really good mic control, so you don't really hear it as much, you know, and then as soon as you get back to the words, you get back on it. But most of the time when I'm on stage, honestly, like everything just like goes away and I'm just like in the moment. And I don't really, I mean, I look at the crowd, but it's not like I'm like intimidated by it. It's more like, ooh, look I get this chance to be in front of these people when I'm up there. But before it's like, look at all these people. So
I think our listeners will be happy to hear that it still can be anxiety inducing, even if you've done it a ton of times. Like sometimes it doesn't go away. It's just a matter of pushing through it.
And it also depends if I'm playing like a solo show, that's much more calm for me because I only have to rely on myself. Like I'm playing my guitar, I know my chords, I know everything. Whereas if I'm playing with my band, it's like, oh God, I hope he remembers coming in the right spot, or I hope they're all set up right. Like I've had some shows where like a guitarist, like I played in New York City once, and one of my guitarists like completely forgot what key we were in and like played his whole solo in the wrong key. And it's just like those shows afterwards, you just like all go into the corner of a room and you just like all sit, no one talks to each other afterwards. You're just like, it'll be better the next stop on the tour, you know?
Yeah.
If somebody does that, do you is it super noticeable? Like I would never know what key anything is in. Would I notice?
Yep. That's
okay.
Yeah. It won't sound good. It just sounds off, right?
Yeah. That show was just an off. The rest of the tour went amazing. That was our first stop. It was New York City. We were all very intimidated. That was a bad show. But there's been like technical stuff that hasn't even, like, it's not even on our end. Like something will happen with the mixing engineer or something, and you'll just hear like a loud buzz, and that happens in the middle of the song. You just gotta play through it, you know? So there's stuff that like I'll freak out, not over me sometimes, but over what's out of my control, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, we just recently had a glitch with, it wasn't YouTube, what was it, Ashley, that crashed on you? It was it was a software program that just crashed, and
over and over and over.
Yeah, nothing you're gonna do about it.
Yeah. You have to learn to adapt. I feel like that would be a very big thing in music. It's learning to adapt. Especially.
Oh yeah.
There's always something going on. And like you said, when you have a team, it's like it's a lot of relying on each other and just making it through.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like the atmosphere. Like one time I played a show and there was a church in the background, and like 5 o'clock hit, church bells went off, were louder than anything we were doing. We all lost our space. We were like, what is happening? You know, sometimes you gotta go with the flow.
That. I've never heard church bells that loud in my life.
Yeah, I had one show too where a spider was on my microphone. Didn't see it, gigantic, and it was like I felt it. I like was like, what is that? And I like looked down. It was on my mic. And I was like, oh my! And I like wanted to chuck the mic into the crowd and be like, no, you know, you still gotta sing with the spider on it. That's what you gotta do.
Ooh, yeah, that no. I would have screamed.
Yeah. You gotta be ready for anything, you know?
You do. What's the next biggest venue that you want to play at some point in your career?
Oh boy, any big venue really. You know, I'd love to play stadiums someday. I think that'd be really cool. I'm actually more into like, I like playing live with like the backing tracks and the super pop stuff. That's fun because you get to dance around on stage and everything. But I'm more into like the MTV or like Billboard like unplugged stuff where you like take the song that you know and then you completely flip it to be more intimate and touchy feely, and you're just, there's no like crazy stuff going on around you. It's just you and the song. I'm into that more, but yeah, that would be like kind of my dream thing, getting on MTV Unplugged or something.
Well, when Ashley and I do know that. So just for our listeners, I am aware of this part. When Ashley and I come to visit you, you can just sing to us.
Serenade us.
I mean, that's honestly what I've been doing lately with the pandemic and everything. People are just hiring me for like private parties, and it's just like 10 people that just sit, and I'll sit in their house and play the music. So
That's so nice.
Do you typically play the same list, or do you change it up quite a bit depending on your mood or how you're feeling or who the audience is, what group of people you're playing to?
So you mean like my cover shows?
Yeah. So
I play anything from like the 50s all the way to today's hits. I have a lot of 90s because, you know, millennial. I mean, born in 94. But I'll look at the crowd, and if there's like a lot of like older people, I'll scale it back to like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And if there's a lot of young kids, I'll play whatever's on the radio today. So I have over 200 songs on my set list. So and I bring out a song menu to every venue that I play at. So people like will look at it like a bar menu, like a drink menu, and they'll like be like, okay, I want this one next.
Karaoke.
Do you remember all of the chords to all those songs? I've always wondered that because we have a lot of bands in Nashville, and I'm like, how do they remember everything?
So I wish that I could do that. I keep learning, like I keep adding to my set, and it's like a lot of musicians stick to their set, and that's kind of like it. But I constantly add old songs like from the 60s, whatever just like comes into my ear. I'm like, oh, that's a popular song. I should learn that one next. So I keep them all on my tablet.
Okay. I've seen that before too. I just can't imagine having to remember chords to 200 songs.
Oh yeah, I have a horrible memory, so that'd be really hard for me.
What are some of your top or your favorite cover songs, like top 5 or ones that you really like to perform?
And then one of the most popular ones that you always get.
The one that I like to perform the most is like a B-side Coldplay song called Green Eyes. I really like that one.
What is it called? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Green Eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have green eyes, so it's written about me. But
I think I have green eyes too. Do we all have green eyes? We're like 2% of the population or something. Look at us.
But yeah, so I love to play that song. I switch it up. Like all of my cover songs, I completely switch them up. So like the second verse will kind of be unrecognizable to the actual song. You'll recognize the song, but like I'll switch it up to be me. And that song I switch it up a lot.
Cute.
Coldplay is my favorite band, so I love doing Coldplay covers. But the most popular one, I feel like I get Fly Me to the Moon, probably. I get that one requested a lot. I like doing like the jazzy kind of ones. Like I do Love, Nat King Cole. And I like doing those jazzy ones because I have like a little jazz flair to my voice thanks to Berkeley. So
nice.
I like doing those too.
Have you played New Orleans, speaking of jazzy?
I wish. Like that's like my next like tourist destination to go to, but mostly because I like that show that was on the CW, The Vampire Diaries.
You have to do the tour. Don't they have a tour down there?
I think so, yeah.
They have tours for everything now. Huh.
Yeah.
That they do.
Vampire Diaries.
Oh yeah, that was my jam. That was my jam in high school. Yeah. I'm totally even kidding myself too. I could still watch that today. It's my personal shame. It's okay.
No shame. No shame.
Not at all. Yeah. What do you want the listeners to know about you, or something that's you think is super important?
I think authenticity is super important. I think music's kind of changing to be more authentic. Like a lot of artists were picking names that weren't their real names, and now all the new artists that are coming out have like, doesn't matter if they have like a crazy last name, they're keeping it, you know? So I think everything that you see from me is real, you know? It's something that's come from my soul. It's something that's happened to me. I feel like I don't really hide any kind of like awkward part of myself. What you see is what you get. And I feel like a lot of artists in like the early 2000s to like 2010 maybe, they were like, everything was kind of staged, I think, kind of, in a sense. You know what I'm talking about? You're not good. So yeah. I feel like music's kind of segueing from this like everything needs to be a huge production to like just be you know? Everybody, like Billie Eilish, like everybody's in love with her and her music. So I think there's a lot of stuff that a lot of artists hide, and that's not really happening as much anymore.
There has been like a surge of just like not underground's not a good word, but like just music where kids, I don't know if you have TikTok. I've gotten on that train recently, and it's like there are kids that are just random kids in high school that are just putting music on online just because, and they're just showing the most vulnerable versions of themselves that are becoming huge on TikTok, and it's just because they are being unapologetically themselves. And I've loved that because I've been introduced to so many new songs, and you know, some of them will just have one song, but it's like it's so them in their essence, and I've loved learning that. So I think you're completely right. There's a lot of just transparency now around music and just being who you are.
Yeah, I mean, dance music in itself and everything, like think about how much Gaga has changed.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I want to take you right on your disco stick to like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with those songs, but like, that's not something that you like you're like, oh, I feel that in my,
Mhm. I
And
feel the vibe. It's like it's pounding at a club, but it's not, it's not moving you.
it's changing,
Mhm.
it's getting more touchy feely. And I think like the world in general is getting a lot more touchy feely with their emotions and stuff. So it's cool to see that. And yeah, I think that I'm trying to show you guys me.
Yeah.
So
We
yeah.
like that. That's one of the first things when Ashley and I met each other, we both looked at each other and we were chit-chatting about, we both have very positive attitudes. We both really love the work that we do and we look forward to every day. And the one thing was, I looked at Ashley and said, I'm just me. Like what you see is what you're going to get. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be fake. And if I say something that hurts your feelings, I don't mean to. It's just who I am. And Ashley was absolutely the same way, was, yeah, this is what you're going to get too. And there's no fluff, there's no spin, there's no sugar coating. It's real.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so important because like in a world of I was just talking with Robin right before you came on about social media and like the realness of it. And recently, because I've watched The Social Dilemma, that one that everyone's watched recently. And it's like everything is just so fake and staged. And it's like, it's so relieving to see people who are just like themselves. It's like, you don't have, and it's also just good for you. You don't feel like you have to, I don't know, put this fake mask up all the time. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I feel like people are just generally being more understanding of each other too. And I feel
Mhm.
like in my high school, I was like popular to like be the bully, And
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's kind of, I mean, I'm not in high school anymore, so I don't know, but I feel like generally the next generation is more open to like everything.
hmm
And I feel like our generation was very like closed off. So
hmm Yeah, I can see that. It was very much just trying to impress other people and
yeah.
being kind of a little bit judgmental of others, even if you're just a little different. But there was a shift happening, at least, because I was born in 92, so it's like we're very close. But I think that shift was starting to happen like right around that time.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
relieving.
I dressed like a complete nerd in high school and I got made fun of it. And I feel like now it's very popular to dress like a nerd.
Yep. Amazing how trends change like that. Come on.
Definitely. So are we going to hear a song about that theory?
One day.
Actually, the next song that's going to be released is called Skin. And the chorus is, I'm a stranger inside my skin, only playing pretend. So
Very eerie sounding.
yeah, it's a little bit about feeling kind of self-conscious, and it's more to do with kind of like getting into the cycle of a toxic relationship, but just kind of that feeling of like not really knowing who you are, and not being comfortable in your own skin. That's kind of the high school experience.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to tell the listeners that you think is very important?
I'd say keep learning. I feel like I learn a lot about myself, and I learn a lot about myself through my music. And the more that you, like, if you learn a new hobby or you learn a new skill, you're just adding and growing into you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say, if you feel like picking up a guitar, pick up a guitar. If you feel like writing a song, who cares? Like, who cares what it sounds like? Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, all about being you. If you're just naturally you and you're not trying to be anybody else and you're just putting yourself out there, people are going to respect that. And so don't be afraid to like learn new things and try new things.
I love
That's
that.
Yeah, Ashley and I talk about that all the time.
We do. Perfect way to end it.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to listening to all your new music. And we'll have to have you back on at some point when you're playing stadiums. We can still get you.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Yes, all of them.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. And until next time, guys, stay awesome.
And keep reaching for your anything.
Bye, guys.
Bye.